one of 15 companies pitching at Rabobank's FoodBytes competition in Chicago, Yolele Foods is on a mission to introduce Americans to an ancient African grain called Fonio.
Well, Fonio is an ancient grain. It's been grown in West Africa for thousands of years. It's gluten-free, low glycemic, super nutritious, and cooks in 5 minutes.
Great, okay. What is particularly appealing about it from a nutritional perspective?
Well, versus rice, it has about 3 times the protein, iron, and fiber. The composition of the protein in particular is interesting. It's high in the essential amino acids, methionine and cysteine, which are deficient in most cereal grains.
Okay, so from a culinary perspective, what's exciting about it?
Well, when we talk to chefs, we say we have an ancient grain, it's gluten-free, and it's not quinoa. That's exciting to a chef.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a bit about preparing it. How do you cook it?
You cook it in around 2 to 1 water to Fonio. You bring it up to a boil, let it simmer for less than a minute, the lid on, turn the heat off, let it sit for 5 minutes, and then fluff it up just like couscous. You would think you're cooking couscous, and you'd think you're eating couscous. We do pre-cook the Fonio, but it's to achieve a particular texture.
Right.
And even if you were to take raw Fonio, it would only take 5 minutes to cook because of its tiny size.
Okay. So how should we think about Fonio? Are there sort of substitutes, as you say, for quinoa or rice and savoury dishes, or are there certain dishes that it's uniquely well suited to? You mentioned earlier sort of a breakfast porridge type product, for example.
Yeah, Fonio is a grain. So when you think about the categories grain-based foods, that's a lot of categories. It's baked goods, it's pasta, it's bread, it's snacks, it's beer.
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot of things.
Yeah.
And anything that you can make with grain, you can make with Fonio. We're making chips with it. We're making hot cereal with it.
So you've already made a pretty compelling case for the food, but what are some of the secondary purchase drivers beyond, taste and convenience that might resonate with consumers? Can you tell a story about this?
So Fonio is grown only by smallholder farmers in West Africa. They're really subsistence farmers. There are 700,000 tons of Fonio grown in the world, all of it by subsistence farmers. We started Yolele to provide a livelihood for those farmers. They have no access to market and really almost no income. They're among the world's poorest people. My partner, Pierre Thiam, is the world's leading African chef and cookbook author, and he knew that if he could find a market for traditional African ingredients, that would provide a source of income, and it could change the landscape as well, because Fonio is drought tolerant and part of a regenerative system.
So I understand you're setting up a milling operation in Senegal. When might that become operational?
We hope it will be operational by the end of the third quarter of 2020.
Okay, so tell me a bit about the go-to-market strategy and the business model.
Well, we are selling in food service and we are selling in retail.
Okay.
We're selling a certain amount to small industrial users. Once we have our mill set up, then we'll qualify as a supplier to industrial users. But food service is a great way to introduce a novel ingredient because a professional chef is cooking it for you, and you don't have to take so much of a flyer.
But you're also in Whole Foods.
Yes, we sell at Whole Foods, we sell on Amazon, we just got into the fresh market. So we've had actually more requests from retailers than we've been willing to say yes to. We have to deal with current suppliers, and those suppliers process Fonio on an artisanal level.
Yeah.
Anyone who is bringing Fonio into this country is similarly processing it on an artisanal level. We are aiming to build industrial scale capacity to elevate the quality of Fonio available in this country. As it is, we qualify our current suppliers by, can they provide Fonio that doesn't taste like sand?
Okay. Fair enough. So I'm going to ask this question. Is this the next quinoa?
Well, some people say so.
Yeah.
I hope that it won't be the next quinoa in every sense of the word, because quinoa suffered a boom and bust cycle that led to the detriment of many of the smallholder farmers who have been growing it for generations.
And you have experience of this market yourself?
Yeah, I actually imported quinoa in the 1980s. And so we're trying to make a conscious effort to avoid that boom and bust cycle by increasing supply as we increase demand, so that there's no real reason for speculative investors to get in and start growing Fonio on an industrial scale. Furthermore, if I might add, we're trying to identify Fonio globally by the World Trade, all the multilateral organizations as an ancient grain grown by smallholders in West Africa. So even if a commercial investor wants to grow Fonio on a large scale in West Africa, they can't call it Fonio.
Okay,
that's our aim,
right?
Because we're really trying to improve the lives of smallholder farmers in West Africa.